week, we have our friend Pedro flying into Preveza, which is easily accessible to the northern part of the island of Lefkas. He will spend a week on board with us, and these cruising grounds are among the best anywhere, so we were happy to kill some time while we awaited his arrival. Tom, Theo, and I enjoyed snorkeling by day in the beautiful waters around Meganisi. Hi, I'm Karen, and my husband is Tom. Welcome to Life 4.0, where we share our experiences of living aboard Sea Rose, our 44-foot sailboat, while we travel together to new and exciting destinations.
We are anchored in Castos.
Life 4.0 finds us taking an early retirement, so we can travel and explore while we have the health and energy to do this in the way that we want. We spend about half of each year on our sailboat and the rest enjoying land-based living and exploration with a home base in the northeast of the United States. We hope you enjoy our Life 4.0 as you think about shaping your own. There is only one go at this thing called life. Make the most of it. One evening, we hiked to the small hilltop town high above our Meganisi anchorage. After we tested the offerings from the local taverna, we walked the quiet streets and remembered that there is a tradition here of women weaving on ancient looms. And we noticed one in a courtyard. Given the ongoing pandemic, the women who show their skills and sell their products were eager to work, even at this late hour. It must have been 10 p.m. as the sweet old Greek woman climbed into her loom and began illustrating her craft. Of course, I bought a couple of their lovely textiles, and my favorite one is always displayed on our salon table. What a special experience to stumble upon during an evening stroll. After a couple days around Meganisi, we decided to check out the large southern Lefkas harbor of Vasiliki. The wind is notoriously strong through the valley that you see here at the head of this harbor, so it has become quite the destination for windsurfing lessons. was a fun vibe to walk the waterfront that was teeming with millennials from a wide variety of countries. Tom watched some of the lessons from the drone, and it seemed the group was getting the hang of it. And then chaos reigned. I hope no one got hurt there. Lefkas is a large and diverse island, so we decided a scooter tour would be a great way to take in a bunch of sights in a short period of time. Plus, I was with two men who were eager to indulge the kids within themselves. So this is an olive grove that looks like it's getting ready for harvest. They have all these tarps underneath the trees, and that's how they end up collecting the olives off there. They spread out a tarp and somehow shake the trees, and that's something I need to figure out. But they do it in a way when the olives are very ripe and they'll start to come off, and they put the tarp out and then collect them that way. Here we enjoyed two beaches with one stop, this one here, and one accessible by a hike up, and over the sizable hill. We're on the west coast of Lefkas, toward the southern end, and we're at a beach called Galos, and just stretches on and on and on and on. And we came down about 1 million switchbacks. You can't even see. You can only see the first couple heading up the hill there, and then they get up over the top of the hill and you can't see them, but they keep going. So yeah, it's Tom and I and Theo, and we have two scooters. Tom and I are on one, Theo's on the other, and it's working out pretty good. It was just a little bit too tall. The scooters were a little too tall for me to feel comfortable driving it on my own. Being vertically challenged as I am, it's just going to be a little hard to go up and down the steep roads, and if I need to put my feet down, I was barely touching. So yeah, we're exploring the West Coast today. Today's beach day. We're in the northern half of the island now, and we just got back underway. It's really pretty. So that must be Needry right down there, right? We had stopped in a village square to relax, but upon checking our phones, we learned from a Facebook post in a Mediterranean sailing group that we all belonged to that a severe weather system was building and likely headed our way. We would need to get back onto our boats, do some research, and come up with a plan. But first, we needed to cross back over the length of the island and return our scooters. Here's one example of a wind prediction app we use. This is showing how the approaching storm will begin to impact Lefkas, where we are currently anchored along the southern coast. The dark color in the lower left-hand corner is the increased wind strength moving towards southern Lefkas.
We're on an early departure from Lefkas, the harbor of Vesliki, and this is the lighthouse on the southern point. of the island. And we've got Theo over here. So we left at about 6 in the morning when it's dark, so we both have our running lights on. Nice little sunrise here. So we're making a little dash up to Preveza to avoid Medicane, what they call here. It's like a hurricane for the Mediterranean that's forming off of like Libya and Tunisia and that area. From the models we've looked at, it's better to be further north. So it doesn't seem like it's going to make landfall here. It's going to make landfall down south of us on the Peloponnesos Peninsula. But we're just trying to be safe and get as far north as we can. And get a nice view of the land here while we're doing our early departure. All right, beautiful morning here, just west of Lefkas Island. Got going early this morning at like 6 o'clock before the sun came up to try to avoid this thing they call the Medicane, Mediterranean hurricane. So we got alarmed a little bit yesterday when somebody had posted on Facebook that there's the weather models were saying there's going to be 100 plus mile an hour winds in Lefkas, which is right where we are, and that's really got our attention. There is a storm forming off the northern coast of Libya and making its way across the Ionian towards here, but we now think it's going to be easing a little bit and not quite as bad as it was originally forecasted. It was forecasted to kind of come straight up from that area right into Lefkas Island. So we are just being cautious now and heading up to Preveza, getting some further space up north, because most of the models are saying it's going to be south of here, and we just want to be careful in case it changes direction. So a little surprise there, but it got us going early this morning and gave us a great chance to see this western coast of Lefkas and the cliffs and all that. We were renting scooters yesterday and saw some of this from the land, but it's certainly dramatic from the water as well. And there's just beaches all the way along here. Many of them I would have to assume are pretty inaccessible, if not by land, possibly accessible by boat. But good view here, and it does feel good to kind of get underway and get a little margin of safety for us away from these high winds. And it certainly was a little scary kind of going through the models last night and trying to figure out, is this thing really real or is this sort of a hoax on Facebook? It was a real forecast, but the forecast seems to be either sending the eye of because it's definitely a swirl on the map, a weather model, and that eye is going more east quicker than it's going north. So I think we're going to be spared, but we're going to be careful and kind of plan it out. If it seems like it's going to get close to us, we're going to have to take our solar panels down and our bimini all off and possibly remove some sails, because anything over 50 or 60 knots of wind starts to do real damage to anything that's exposed up on the deck. So, but keeping our fingers crossed that we'll avoid it and maybe we'll have some chance to see Preveza earlier than we thought.
Join us next time as we learn mid-trip that the storm is now more likely to intensify and head further north. We'll share some of the massive impacts of the storm and some tales from friends who did not, unfortunately, make it out of the path.
Good sailing here. So we're headed up to kind of the Corfu area, but on the mainland, and looking for a place that's protected there.
Yep, we headed much further north beyond Preveza. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos. Thanks for watching.